Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll start shortly, just a few more minutes to allow more people to get in on the webinar. Good morning, ADA participants. Welcome to the highly anticipated webinar, Meet the Small Business Liaison, presented by the SBA OCIE District Office. I am thrilled to be your host for today's event. My name is Alex Salas, and I have the privilege of serving as the Business Development Specialist in our district office. First and foremost, I want to express my sincere gratitude to each of you for joining us today. We understand that your time is valuable, and we are committed to making this webinar both informative and engaging. Our aim is to provide you with valuable insights on how to do business with the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, how they can assist you in achieving your business goals. We understand that every business is unique with its own set of challenges and needs. The connection you make today can prove invaluable in your entrepreneurial endeavors. We encourage you to actively engage in today's session by asking questions, sharing insights, and collaborating with both our team and special guests. Our mission is to empower small business owners like yourselves to overcome obstacles, seize opportunities, and reach new heights of success. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude once again for your presence today. Get ready to gain valuable knowledge, make beneficial connections, and discover new pathways to success. Thank you, and let's make this webinar an exceptional experience for each and every one of you. Today we're using Teams, so the unmute function is not available. The Q&A box is where you will provide questions to our special guests. And this webinar is being recorded. So if you're not able to attend or you cut out, drop off, you will be sent a link to the recording as well as a slide deck. But again, this is the Meet the Small Business Liaison from the OCI District Office. Our goal is to help ADA participants connect with offices of small business liaisons. Our goal is to bridge this gap between you and federal agencies and non-federal agencies with new and seasoned participants of the ADA program. So we know we have a few new participants in the program. Those who've been with us for a few years now and those at the very end can all benefit from this webinar because, as you all know, once you get to that transitional stage, you need to find revenue outside the ADA program. Our special guest today is Mr. John Arena. He's the Business Outreach Manager for Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. And Ms. Jeanette Carrera as well. So they will be taking over now and telling us how to do business with the Metropolitan Water District. John, it's all yours.
Thank you, Alex. You hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, good morning. And I don't feel any pressure, Alex, with your lead-in saying this would be an exceptional webinar. I'll do my best to meet everybody's needs. We have about 45 minutes together this morning. I'm hoping to have things that kind of wrapped up in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so we can have a conversation. Again, thank you, Alex, for reaching out. I have been the manager here for the program for 20 years. Our program, we've seen a lot. We've dealt with a lot of different businesses, seen a lot of success doing business with Metropolitan. And that's what my team is here to do, is really try to facilitate that and answer your questions. And we know it's not easy dealing with the government and doing government contracting. And every agency has a little nuance or something that they ask for or do a little different. And as a small business owner, I'm sure it can be frustrating sometimes when you're like, hey, I can do this work, I can do the business. What's up with all the red tape? But I think that comes sort of with our territory. So hoping today, again, you feel a connection to Metropolitan and you come back and you kind of get more involved with Metropolitan if that's somebody you want to pursue outside of the 8A program. I have an incredible colleague with me, one of my superstars in the program, Jeanette Correa. I think you could all see her on your screen. She is new to the program. I've been here almost a year. Next month, actually, it'll be a year, but she's been with the district for quite some time, 20 plus years like me. And she just brings an incredible wealth of knowledge in the procurement, contracting, sort of how Metropolitan runs its business. She's sort of an expert in that as well. And she'll be able to help us going forward. I have control of the presentation, so I will just go ahead and get started. I haven't done a webinar since the early days of the pandemic, so please bear with me and I will move this. Do I just hit enter? I'm sorry, I don't think I have control of the presentation, do I?
Yeah, at the top says, John, says start sharing, so I'll stop sharing. So you can share?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, could you do it for me then?
Sure.
Sorry, I thought, you're right, I can't grab your computer, but if you could do it for me, I'll just hit next.
Can you see it now?
I see it now, thank you, Alex. Okay. Thank you. Okay, next slide. It's important for all of you, I believe you're located from Los Angeles down to San Diego, and this is a map of who we are as Metropolitan Water District. We're the nation's largest wholesaler of water, and that's important for your business to understand that we are not a retail agency. There's roughly 300 retail agencies in Southern California, but we are the big importer of water. We're the wholesaler. We sell to all these member agencies, 26 of them. They in turn then get the water, blend it with local supplies, and then sell it, deliver it to your home, sort of to your meter. That's not who Metropolitan Water is. But again, we do supply water to supplemental water to 20 million people in Southern California. Next slide, please. I like this slide because it gives you a sense of, we've been around for 100 years, and it's important for you to, again, know your customer. Who is the Metropolitan Water District? We are not the Department of Water and Power, right? We're not LADWP, we're MWD. We're the ones who are importing water. We're the ones who have been here 100 years ago, who created Los Angeles, who created Southern California. You don't have an economy without water. And so Metropolitan plays a vital role in that. Innovation is important to us. If you're into sustainability, resiliency, Metropolitan is working extremely hard with our new general manager, trying to create a stronger, resilient company, and innovation is going to drive that. We have a multi-billion-dollar project we're building in Carson, California. It's going to be the nation's largest recycling plant. It's important to know the scale of we're doing things, and where you fit as an 8A firm. Is it a subcontractor? Are you looking for certain sizes of contracts that are sort of your sweet spot? And so I think that's an important thing to sort of go through with us, is here's what I do well, here's where I see myself, and then target those projects that come out in that size, whether it's $250,000 construction job up to $5 million and so on. We kind of have them broken down by those estimates. And our board of directors, 38 strong on our board, are very supportive of our program and what we're doing. So again, just getting to know who Met is, whether it's attending a virtual board meeting where they're talking about projects at our engineering and operations committee, it's doing that extra little bit of legwork as a company to understand your customer better. Next slide, please. And this is just, again, a little bit more of a look. If you scroll back and you look at the state of California, and you see us in the bottom there, the peach color, it is on my side. That was that earlier map I showed you. You'll see there, when I started the Metropolitan 27 years ago, it looked a lot different than this. All of our water was imported with only a little bit of local water and a little bit of conservation. We have done such an amazing job. You see those percentages there, 30 and 25? That's 55% imported water. When I started here, it was 85 to 90%. So you can see how we're becoming a little bit more sustainable. And with all the droughts that a lot of you have lived through, if you lived in Southern California, it's really, really important that Metropolitan, the role we play in making sure that we do have drinking water for the region. Next slide, please. Hey, Alex, are we taking questions at the end then?
Yes, I have a question now if you would like to hear it.
I have a slide that's coming up on that.
Okay.
If it's the one I see on my
right, well, we can wait to the end.
Okay, yeah, because I think I'll answer some of these, and then of course if I don't, I'll do it at the end. Program overview. I'm going to talk about incentives. It's important for you as a business owner when you're dealing with an agency to understand how do they support small, diverse businesses. What are their certifications they accept? I'll talk about that. Contract evaluation. I mentioned a little bit about it, but what we do at our office, I have a person on my team, Rick Duarte. He actually looks at every single project over $100,000 to ensure either we're unbundling projects or that we're setting small business requirements, subcontracting requirements. We do not have a good faith effort here at Metropolitan. We have a requirement in construction. So if you're a small sub, we require our primes to utilize you, and we have a contract compliance officer who ensures that that is met and tracks that on a monthly basis. Small purchases, for a lot of firms, they want to sort of start at that level to kind of build up some capacity and kind of prove out, hey, I can do this work. Give me some small projects. And our threshold for that is $75,000. So anything below 75 is considered a small acquisition. We have a lot of training. We actually have some training coming up that Jeanette's going to talk about for construction firms. It's sort of what we call our MWD boot camp. It's to really get a better understanding of how we do business and to be successful at Metropolitan. PLA, this is new to us. We just adopted a project labor agreement for all projects over $5 million. And we also have that boot camp touches on that 4-week boot camp on how to be successful if you are non-union, on being successful on a PLA. And then that's called the Contractor Academy. Next slide, please. All right, so diving into the incentives. If you're in professional services, let's say you're an IT services company, HR company, we go after those services using what we call requests for proposals, requests for qualifications. Our incentives are based into the scoring criteria, and so you do get a total of 10 percentage points. We have an SBE and D. I need to update this slide, I just realized. But the two certifications we recognize are small business. We have our own self-certification. Of course, we also accept the state of California small business certification. And of course, we have a DVBE program, Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise. RFBs, that's if you're selling us products, we give you a discount off your bid, but we award you the full bid amount. So it's only for evaluation purposes only. And then construction, I mentioned to you, it's a rare thing that you see public agencies do requirements. Most of them have good faith efforts, which we just don't agree with. We really hold the primes accountable for meeting their subcontracting required goal. Next slide, please. Okay. I mentioned a little bit about this. Our program was adopted by our full board in 2001. Initially, it was only 18% was our goal. We've raised it to $25,000. That's across all areas of procurement. That's, again, buying supplies, professional services, and construction. Planet Bids is our platform. I have a slide a little bit later on to that, but that's how you register with us. Again, this may be just business 101, but every agency has its own sort of vendor database. I know it's a kind of a setback for businesses. Oh gosh, I'm registered in 50 different companies, 50 different passwords, but ours is Planet Bids. They do have about 200 public agency clients in California, so it's a great one to be in. So I have a slide on that. Talked about the SBE DVB certification. It's very, very quick. Our self-certification, we have our own, and of course I mentioned DGS. What's nice too about our primes, we get calls almost daily by our primes who search our database for subs and to utilize subs. I just had one yesterday for painters. Someone is looking for painters and for a big job in West LA, and they reached out to me saying, John, please give me access to your database. I need to find some DVB painters ASAP to meet a requirement for this federal job. Next slide, please. So this is the certification portal. What's nice about ours is there's a lot more to it than just registering as a company. Obviously, you'll see their new vendor registration on the screen, top left. That's where you sort of click once you, again, it's on our website, mwdh2o.com. You go down to the bottom, doing business, you'll find it there, or just go mwdh2o.com/business outreach. Lots of ways to get there. The bid opportunities, what's nice about that is we have a history there. You can go in there and actually look at all the bids for the past 12 years and what we've bid. You can look at all the construction for the last year. You can look who's bidding. We're a public agency, so we're very transparent. We have to kind of show you who was awarded and how much. So again, it's a great tool for you to maybe see if you can be committed, or not committed, but if you can be competitive. That's the word. Can you be competitive in your area based on the people who are bidding and the cost of the bids and the cost of the supplier that we're procuring. What else do I have on there? Find certified vendors, bottom right. Yeah, that's where you can actually search for firms if you're looking to build a team or subcontractors. Next slide, please. A little bit more about the SBA guidelines that we follow in our self-certification. They're constantly updating. I'm pretty sure that this is the latest and greatest. Kind of neat, in the last couple of years, the state of California has actually raised their small business threshold for public works contracts. Now it looks like it's 37 million and less than 200 employees. The nice thing about us in construction too is we count all tiers. We count suppliers, we count all tiers, and of course, subcontractors. Next slide, please. So this is just kind of gets into the areas. We basically we're a pretty large company. We have almost 2,000 employees, but depending on our capital program, we'll outsource a lot of work, especially our engineering and architectural work right now. We're putting a lot of it out on the street and for professional services, and we're looking at, you know, $100 to $200 million a year. We hire, you name it, we hire it. We have a creative department, so sometimes we outsource things to support them. Human resources, IT, you name it. Cybersecurity is a huge push for us in the last few years. So we push a lot out. I will say this, we predominantly do requests for qualifications. We like to build on-call lists. So it's important to know that, because when you probably have experience going after RFQs, you get shortlisted or you become a on-call vendor, and then that's when the fun starts, right? Like the 8A program. That's when you've given your SOQ, your statement of qualifications, you've got in as a vendor, but then what's the next step? You know, and that's where our office can help you. It's setting up those meetings with the customers and internally once you get that on-call contract. That's where we can come in and help. Next slide. Procurement, I don't think there's a lot of procurement folks on this call, but we buy everything. We buy everything from cars to, of course, the pipes and valves. We have massive warehouses for safety supplies. We, of course, we do, and this is something new that's come up quite a bit, but a lot of our, how do I say it, our IT products, our software, that we're going on. We're actually working with a lot of public agencies to sort of do larger procurements, and I think it kind of hurts the small business community when we put these all together and sort of bid them out to large firms. So I'm really pushing back on that right now internally. and trying to, again, that's what we do in the company. Jeanette and I and my team, we're constantly advocating to see if these barriers, these artificial barriers, are really hurting our small business community. Again, just samples of what we buy. We buy everything. Next slide, please. Metworks, I'll turn it over to you, Jeanette, to talk a little bit about Metworks and what's coming up. It's good timing for us without everything coming up the next few weeks. And I'll turn it over to you, Jeanette. Go ahead. Jeanette, you're on mute.
There we go. My mute, I had to. Everyone, hello, good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, John. My name is Jeanette Correa, and I am with Metropolitan Water District, and it's my pleasure to present to you our upcoming Metworks event. And you're here to listen and meet the primes and really hear contracting information straight from the source. So our next upcoming Metworks will be in the Inland Empire. So it's a huge industry day in-person event. I have a quick flyer here, and what I will be September 14, mark your calendars. It's a Thursday from 8 in the morning to 11:30. So it's a morning event. September 14, it will be held at the Moreno Valley Conference and Recreational Center out in the Moreno Valley. It's one of our service areas. So we want to extend out there and come and hear about our Lake Matthews pressure control structure and bypass project, which is a huge $150 million progressive design build project, but also come and listen to our Metropolitan's upcoming contractual projects, as well as listen to our successful testimonials from our very own contractors, subcontractors. And we will also be highlighting contractual opportunities from our member agencies who will be out there, and this will include Inland Empire Utilities Agency, Western Municipal Water District, along with Eastern Municipal Water District. So please mark your calendars. There's a QR code right there in front of the screen. Get your mobile device, scan that QR code. It'll give you an opt-in. Go ahead and submit the Metworks. It types it up for you so that you can stay alert on our upcoming projects, as well as any contractual projects that we have online. There's a project schedule. You can see our upcoming projects that are now up for bid on our RFP, RFQ portal. And that will bring me on to the next event that we have. So I'll go ahead and share that.
Before you go on to the next, go back, Alex, go back one. Okay, before Jeanette starts talking about the other, the Contractor Academy, so just so you know, because I'm kind of challenged with my phone as well, is all you have to do is hold up your camera, right? Open up your camera, you scan this, and then what's nice is you just hit, it'll already type it in like she said, and you just hit send. It'll send you a link, you'll click on that link, and then it'll bring you into the app, and the first thing you'll see blinking is upcoming events. You'll click on that, and then boom, scroll down, and you can register on the spot for our event. So please do that. Last time we had one in person back in February, we had 320 people there in Carson. We're planning to have 300 again in Moreno Valley. So again, we plan on doing these once a year. Great opportunity for you to meet Metropolitan staff, member agency buyers. Please come. There's no cost. Thank you, Jeanette. And the next event, Contractor Academy. Go ahead.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for that. This is our next, this is the E-Contract Academy. It's also in our Inland Empire, which is one of our service areas that we like to extend our areas. And this does require a 4-week commitment. So it's a 4-week contractual training academy. The days that are scheduled is September 13, September 20th, September 27, and October 4th. And they're from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It will be located at the Moreno Valley Business and Employment Resource Center. There is an application deadline, but we do have openings as of now. And one of the things that what you're really going to get out of this training program, is that it's going to provide you the training, the tools, the resources, the opportunities, so that you can pursue careers and also contract opportunities in the energy efficiency. But there are also an enrollment stipulations that you do have to, and it's a must, possess a current contractual state license board contractor license. But it's a commitment, a 4-week academy training program, but it's free. It gives you all the tools, it gives you all the resources that you need, and you're going to learn tons of information on how to get small contracting opportunities. And it's hosted by our Emerald Cities, Los Angeles, our SBDC, and Metropolitan, as well as BERC. I have a fillable PDF file for you, so it's very easy to just submit the application. And I don't have that a QR code, but I'm sure Alex can send that information to all the participants in today's webinar.
Yes, I can do that. Also, Jeanette, one of the questions says that I scanned the QR code for MetroWorks. It gave me a phone number.
Okay, so when it gives you, when you need to opt in, when you scan the QR code, it'll populate, and it actually even spells it for you. It'll say MetWorks. Hit send to opt in. When you hit send, you will get a link in return that will allow you to opt in. To get the link, you click on link, and then it'll take you to the direct MetWorks homepage.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job, Jeanette. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I think that does it. Next, I think we're done. Can't remember, Alex. I think this. Okay. Yeah. Oops. That came out weird. All right. That's hard to look at. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's open it up for some questions. That kind of concludes the presentation. And do you want me to, Alex, just to look up here? How do you procure IT?
Yes, John, I'll go ahead. Yeah, if you go ahead and answer the first question. The question is asking, how do I procure IT for your infrastructure? Okay,
I think I need a little bit more information. When I hear procure IT, I think of products. Is that
right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure that this they will ask another question in a minute. I'm sure they'll follow up on that. We'll go on to the next question then. It says, what goals are there for Native American-owned small businesses /8As?
Okay, so great question. One of the reasons we wanted to do this today is because we do want to help those 8As as you grow through the program. We know that there's going to be a point where you're going to graduate, I guess is the word you use, but we want to diversify your portfolio. So I think Metropolitan is just one of those agencies. We only have a small business program and a DVBE program. So 8As are more than welcome to bid on our work, right? Because you're as a small business. If you're a Native American owned businesses, we actually are very, very involved in the California Native American Chamber of Commerce. We were just at their conference last month. We have a new tribal relations office who's out there just letting folks know that, hey, we're open for business. So we, again, only have small business and disabled veteran business enterprise. But again, of course, we welcome DBEs, disadvantaged business enterprises. We welcome all to come in and do business. Hope that answered it. What's the last one? Can we get a link? Oh yeah, absolutely. Alex will provide that information to everyone. Merv Cutler, I see you're in engineering and tech services, so it's probably not procurement you're looking for by us buying, stuff. You're probably talking about IT services. So we do that again through RFPs and RFQs. I would love to talk to you one-on-one just to kind of learn a little bit more. The way we do things in IT is we have categories. I believe there's 14 categories. So what we do every 3 years is we refresh those categories, and one of them obviously is cybersecurity. We have web support, web page, all that information. But out of those 14 categories, we pre-qualify firms, and then our staff of IT is about 130 people. Each one has a specialty area. They'll go into those on-call lists for the entire IT department. That will be their list for 3 years until it's refreshed. So hopefully that'll help. I think it was just done maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I would need to find out and get back to you on that, Merv. And hopefully you have our contact information. You can reach out to me or Jeanette, and I'll get you that date when it's going to be refreshed. And just remember, on government contracts, if it's going to expire in 2024, let's say December of 2024, we'll start doing the bidding process in the spring/beginning of summer. We'd like to give ourselves about 6 months to get a new crop of vendors on board.
Thanks, John.
I think I answered most of them. Yeah. Did you have anything else?
Yes, I have a few questions. I know we talked about, goods and services. We talked about, overview of procurement process, certifications. What resources are available to help small businesses navigate the procurement process and increase their chances of successfully securing contracts with your organization?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, obviously, we have our events that we host, right, where we bring staff and we do the workshops. We have the Contractor Academy, which is going to be really a deeper dive into how to be successful in Metropolitan and bidding Metropolitan projects. I think I'd say this: one of the things about working with the SBDCs and the SBAs over the years with our partners is it's given us the opportunity to work through the SBDCs like we do now. We do workshops with them, is to come out. Jeanette and I were just at an SBDC event in San Bernardino, perhaps maybe a month ago. We were in Irvine 4 months ago. I think we were in Riverside last fall. Our team, even though we cover 6 counties, we work closely with our chambers of commerce. We belong to 27 different ethnic chambers. We want to go to them. We want to do custom workshops for them to try to understand how our processes work. Again, being a public agency, obviously everything in procurement's a low bid. There's not much to sort of learn, what are the tips and the tricks. We kind of, again, lean on the SBDCs. We lean on people like you, Alex, that are doing great work out there to kind of put us in front of firms. And maybe if today a firm says, you know what, I'm ready to do projects with MWD and in construction or and I want to look at projects between $1 million and $2 million or $3 million. Well, definitely get involved with Metworks, right? After this in-person Metworks event, we do quarterly events virtual on Zoom, doing Zoom webinars where we bring different staff on. We give you a 6-month outlook on projects. You can kind of say, okay, wow, I like these size. I want to go after them. So yeah, there's no magic. There's no silver bullet. There's no easy answer to how to be successful. I always love to hear from other small businesses what they did to become successful in the government sector, and you can all learn from each other as well. So hope that sort of answered it, Alex.
Yes, I have a few more questions. Just I know you touched a little on some of them already, but what strategies can a small business adopt to stand out and differentiate themselves when bidding for contracts with MWD?
Boy, that's a great question. I mean, that's fantastic. And it's something that we talk a lot about. Like, what is your niche? What is it that you do that your competitors don't? That's the magic, right? That's like, hey, so many times I've met firms that we already have a service that they provide that we already have in-house, and how do they break through? How do they get in front of the customer? I think it's not only staying in touch with our office, but as those things come up to renew, is doing your homework, finding out what do we like about the incumbent, what is your competitor doing. Again, it's public information. We can share that sort of contract information with you, their proposal. But I occasionally, not occasionally, quite a bit, maybe about 10 or 12 a year, I evaluate proposals. I'm asked as a third party, as an advocate for small business, to sit in and read people's proposals. Some of the best proposals I've seen are sort of how people put together their team, how they're coming after metropolitan work, that experience in our sector, understanding who we are and what we do, what our mission is, what our strategic initiatives are. Some people take a cookie cutter approach to coming after our proposals, and it's really, really important that people, again, when you read the RFP, what we're looking for, and again, what your firm, what you guys really, really do well and you specialize in. So don't sort of sell your company, that you can do everything, that whatever we need, we can provide you. That doesn't always go well with folks when they're reading proposals or you're meeting with them when we set up a one-on-one meeting. So yeah, that's a great question.
Okay. Can you share any success stories of small businesses that have successfully secured contracts with MWD and grown as a result of that partnership?
Yeah, that again, another great question. We track all of our spend. Two things we do. In construction, we have that requirement. So in construction, we 25%, and we have. I was just looking at the report yesterday. We have disadvantaged businesses. We've got 8A firms. You name it. We've got them doing business with us as subcontractors, right? Because we hold the prime accountable to make sure they sub out 25% of their work. It's mandatory. In the other areas, I would say, our goal every year is 25%, and we hit that or exceed that every year for 21 years. So we know we have a lot of small businesses doing business with us. Some of the success stories, just one that about tip my head is company out of San Diego, of all places. We're pretty far from San Diego. They had a GPS tracking program. We have 2,000 vehicles. Our folks were a little bit leery. Our unions, everybody was a little leery about putting GPS in vehicles. Eventually, the vendor didn't quit. It took 6 months. Gave us 5 these monitoring systems on high traffic vehicles. Instantly within 3 months. Again, this was a pilot project. That was important, that he didn't come looking for a $50,000 contract, which he originally asked for. Then he rethought. He said, you know what? If I have an opportunity to work with Metropolitan, what could that do for my brand? What could that do for me to go to 300 other public agencies and saying, hey, I'm doing business with Metropolitan? We coached him on that. One of my staff did, who's on my team, Ken Ashford. He walked him through that. It took a year. So, again, patience. He got those 5, turned that into 200, turned it into over 1,000 units. And on top of it, he took that, and this was his genius move. He went to the California Water Utilities Agency, and he was able to become an approved vendor for all water districts in California because of one contract with MWD, and then all of a sudden they started picking him up. So just an incredible story of perseverance, a little bit of coaching on our team, and just somebody being willing to see the big picture of doing business with an agency as large as Metropolitan.
Okay, John, we do have one question here. For suppliers and things like pipes and valves, do you typically use only one supplier or multiple suppliers?
Great question. I came from procurement, so I spent 5 years as a buyer, and then I've been doing this for 22 years. So what we do here at Metropolitan, we have massive warehouses. We've got about 800 people in operations who utilize our warehouses every day. So number one is, the rule is, which, as a buyer, you hope this is true, but 80% of our supplies go into our warehouses for our O&M and preventive maintenance. So 80%, right? Those are bid. Every 3 years, we go, we bid categories. I think there's about 18 categories for our warehouse: small tools, pipes, valves, safety supplies, cleaning supplies, you name it. They all go into our warehouse. But we also have these things called companion contracts. They're smaller contracts. They may be up to $25,000. The other ones are multi-million-dollar warehouse contracts, fulfillment contracts. The other ones could be 10 contracts for $25,000 each, where we'll need to buy things that are not on the contract. So these are things that are, again, non-contract items, off contract. We have buyers who specialize in this. So what we would do is we would put you in touch with that buyer, and for, like, let's say it's pipes and valves, that buyer would then sort of get your line card, what you do, explain to you what pipes and valves MWD specs out, and what brands we spec out. So yeah, that's kind of a very short answer. That's my answer. I hope that helps.
Thank you, John. I believe that's all the questions we have.
Okay. Do they have our contact information, Alex?
I'm going to provide it
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
Is that okay with that email?
Yes, that's my email. Yep, you can always go to our website and find my entire team will be on there. So if you wanted to find Jeanette, Rick, Ken, we have our certification officer, Wendy, Barba, she's on there. She's right outside my cubicle, so she'll be glad to help you. I hope some of you can make it to Metworks. There'll be a nice little continental breakfast. It's basically what, 8 to 11:30, Jeanette. We're gonna have we're putting a lot of work into it, having a lot of staff from MWD come. So yeah, if you're in engineering, if you're in any type of professional services or construction, you'll want to come. And we have 3 member agencies coming with their staff. So if you're in the Inland Empire and you want to do business with a water agency, maybe not as big as Metropolitan, but you want to, because remember, a lot of the member water districts other than MWD, they spot buy things, right? They don't have multi-million-dollar warehouse contracts. They like to use local vendors because they're reliable. They get their materials when they need them. So don't discount doing business with a member agent or another retail water agency if you want to pursue that. I wish you all the best. I've been a fan of the 8A program for a long time. I can't tell you when was the last time I went to an 8A firm or 8A conference. It was at Camp Pendleton, and there was, goodness, there must have been 400 people there. Great program, and I'm here to support you any way you can. Alex, thank you so much for the invitation.
We do have one more, John. Says,
okay.
Do you require general contractors to list the SBE, MBE subcontractors on their bids to MBE, and are those bids posted to the public to see?
Yes, absolutely. We require them to list them. Yep, it's a requirement. There's no good faith effort, so if they list them, they must use them. Everything is publicly bid, and so yeah, if you went to our website right now, you could look at the last 10 construction contracts and see the subcontractors that are listed. Like I said, we also have a contract compliance officer. So we have every month, if there's any issues after 3 months, maybe of no reporting, or we don't see numbers being met. We've never had in 21 years, nobody hit their number. So we're very, very proud of that. But if a prime is struggling with paying a sub, or if they need to substitute, they have to come through through me. They can't substitute a small business or MBE, WB. They can't substitute them unless I approve, and I've never had that happen. So it's, again, we've been around here a long time. Primes don't bid our projects unless they know how serious we are. We recently had a company from Oregon come down and bid our work, Fowler Construction, big project, I think 68 million. And at first they were like, wait a minute, that's not how we do business up here. And I said, well, it's how we do it here. So they were very supportive of our program and hit their requirements. And you know, what's kind of neat about our primes is that's just the floor, right? We asked them to do 25%. We've got some that exceed 35, 40%, small business and diverse business. So it's not a bad, take advantage of it if you're in the construction area.
There is a second part to this question. It says, is there any additional checks by MWD that the GC uses the stated SBE, MBE at the time of bid and not change when the project has started?
Yes, so what's nice about our contract compliance officer is the day the bids close, let's say there's 10 subs. She'll get those 10 subs. She'll put them into our contract compliance software. And what's nice about it is it automatically emails all 10 subs that they've been listed on X contract with X GC for this dollar amount. So we do get calls occasionally, people saying, oh my gosh, I had no idea that I got listed or I put on that contract. This is great news, thank you. What's nice about our program, we take it to the next level, is we don't just do that on day one and then come back 2 years later after the project and saying, hey, how did you do on that? We actually monthly, and I mentioned this before, but we have monthly reports that come out, and it's what we call our accountability program. It's called CCAP, Contract Compliance and Accountability Program. Metropolitan's resident engineer, contract administrator, the prime is all notified every month if the prime has not paid or if they have paid. So what happens for me is every quarter I look at it. If I see any type of monthly reporting not happening in a 2-month span, we'll set up a meeting with the Metropolitan manager and the sub and the prime, and we'll basically get to the bottom of it. And 99% of the time, it's just, oh, we haven't had a chance to enter in the information, or that hasn't come up in the project yet, or the supplier, we haven't used the supplier yet, but we've never had non-compliance. So we have an award-winning contract compliance and accountability program.
Oh, that's wonderful. John, just the last question I have is, for your own certification process, what does that process look like? How long does it take? Could you just give us a real quick walkthrough of that?
Yep. So Metropolitan's program it's a self-certification. So you go in there, we trust you. We don't want, obviously we have about 4 caveats if you're not providing the correct information. But yeah, we ask you, we base it on the SBA guidelines. So it's 3 years of what your gross annual sales are. We take an average, and if it falls under the NAICS code for the SBA and you qualify as a small business, boom, you're certified. So it could take within 48 hours to get self-certified with Metropolitan. But yeah, we accept the state of California as well, reciprocity partner. So yeah, it's the SBA self-certification.
All right, John, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, 80 participants, for joining us today. This concludes the webinar. I want to say, Mr. Arena, for your time, Ms. Correa as well, for your efforts and information. I know that this information is very valuable to 80 firms on moving forward with procurement opportunities with the Metropolitan Water District. And again, thank you so much for taking the time today to give our participants the valuable information they need to be successful. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, participants. And this concludes the webinar.
Thank you, Alex. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you, everyone. If you're still online, please take a look at the Q&A. I input the link to our Metropolitan's Planning Bids vendor portal, and also the link that will direct you to the Eventbrite registration for our upcoming Networks Industry Day in the Inland Empire for your reference. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jeanette.
Thank you, Jeanette. For our area firms that are still on, just so you know that we do have upcoming webinars with high-speed rail, with Northrop Grumman, also with DLA, and any future agencies you would like to have, please message me, email me, let me know what agency we'd like to have, and I will do my efforts to go out and reach out to them so that we can have them. Again, thank you for your time. Have a great day.